This week's Safety Toolbox talk is about cold weather preparedness. We are moving into the second week in December of 2016, and the cold weather is upon us. This is another one that we may consider the hazard is not knowing. Cold weather. What can happen to us in cold weather? If we get wet, we're working in the cold, it's extremely cold, we end up with hypothermia. It affects our heart. We could go into cardiac arrest. That's one of the worst scenarios. On the other hand, when they talk about cold, they talk about how it affects our cheeks, our nose, our earlobes, and our fingers. Those are the first things on the human body that typically would get frostbitten if by chance we're wet and we're cold. In theory, when it gets cold out, we're supposed to dress in layers. Cotton shirts, sweatshirts, sweaters, and a warm jacket. A warm jacket that would also be considered waterproof. You do not want to be getting wet in the dead of winter and getting a cold, which turns into maybe more than a cold, potentially pneumonia. You find yourself at home sick in bed during the holidays or during the winter months, not collecting that paycheck, all because we weren't aware of the weather, we weren't watching the weather, we weren't aware of the fact that we had these cold temperatures coming in. Now, in theory, 80% of the heat of your human body escapes through the head. It's always smart to have a nice warm hat or hood liner, a helmet liner, something of that nature so that we contain that heat. Protect those hands. There's an awful lot of tradesmen that talk about not protecting their hands. They can't work with gloves on, so on and so forth. You got to protect the hands in the wintertime or your fingers are going to end up getting frostbitten. No messing around with cold. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to understand our site logistics. Let's talk a little bit about cold weather on your job sites. We get an inch of snow tonight. Tomorrow morning you hit the job site, you need to go to the roof, take a look at your rooftop rigging, or you need to go down that ramp to get down by your Connex box and your equipments. It's slippery conditions. Are you wearing the proper work boots? Do they have a decent sole? Because if by chance you slip and fall, you throw that arm out, you could potentially break a wrist, tear a rotator cuff. Once again, you're sitting at home during these cold weather days with an injury. We're looking for you to make the right choices, protecting yourself this winter, wearing warm clothing, staying dry, staying healthy for yourselves and for your families. Thank you.